I have to say our religious ancestors are the reason for the longest word in the dictionary that my father used to quiz me on. Disestablishmentarianism it was a political philosophy stemming from the lawsuit of a Unitarian church in New England suing to disestablish the established churches, which in the early days of our republic received tax money, and the Unitarian churches sued to be removed from that and to be removed from the onerous burden of paying taxes for churches that taught doctrines you didn't agree with. So from the earliest days of the United States of America, Unitarians and Universalists, and later Unitarian Universalists, have stood firmly on the side of the separation of church and state, on the grounds that it benefits both.
Of course. Just look at the number of churches in this country where there is presumably the separation compared to those countries where there is a government-supported church.
Exactly. England and Great Britain are a case in point. So that is something that we feel very, very strongly about. For myself personally, I am uncomfortable about the government telling me as a preacher what I can say from my pulpit. Another principle that has been extremely sacred in our movement, going back to the Protestant Reformation, has been the right of preachers to preach as their consciences dictated, whatever that might mean. And so while I do not choose to preach to my congregation telling them who to vote for, I'm not sure that I would say that the government has a right to tell me I cannot do that. And so I'm ambivalent on the question of preachers doing that.
The government could not tell you that you could not support a candidate. They could say if you do so, you will lose your tax-exempt status.
Yes.
And so,
and there's people who want to make a good argument about the tax-exempt status being an unnecessary entanglement of religion and the state.
There's a case to be made for that.
There is a case to be made for that. I'm not going to be the one making it, but there's probably a case to be made.
Let me ask you about something else that you could benefit from, and I doubt that you do, but under President Bush, they have done what they call money. He is providing federal money to faith-based organizations. Now, until he started his program, I never heard that description, which really means a church. And so he is giving taxpayers' money in millions and billions to faith-based organizations, which you could probably qualify for. Are you getting any of that money?
No, we are not. But we are not currently at the present time in our post-Katrina state doing anything that would qualify, because a faith-based organization, a mosque, a synagogue, or a church that wanted to receive that money has to be doing some kind of community work. And although you can say members of First Church are very involved in anti-racism work and in equal housing protests and so on, at the present time as a church, we are not organized or even in a physical state good enough to apply for federal funds for doing something like, say, before Katrina, we had a neighborhood health clinic for children based in our Sunday school classrooms. Right now, there's no plumbing in our Sunday school classrooms, so we don't qualify. We're involved in a situation where we are hoping, through a partnership with the No AIDS Task Force, the local AIDS organization, to do a catering kitchen that on its completion will provide meals to AIDS clients in a 3-parish and hopefully in the future a 4-parish area. that would probably be eligible for federal community grants to a faith-based organization. I wouldn't be above taking it. If we are truly doing a community service and we can get help to do that community service, I would do that. Now, of course, we being the Unitarian Church, we would not be discriminating in our employment or in our volunteer staff on the basis of age, race, religious belief, or sexual orientation or gender identification. What I find disturbing is that when certain conservative religious groups do a needed community function and receive those federal funds, they are able to skirt the anti-discrimination laws that are already on the books and discriminate as well on the basis of things that are not yet enshrined in law, such as gender identification and sexual orientation.
From what I read, it's widespread that these faith-based groups that are getting this money not only may discriminate, they also proselytize, and the government it doesn't even check that out. I think for the most part they don't even try to see how the money is spent.
I think it'll be interesting to see in the new administration whether the program is even continued or whether it is strengthened and have stronger boundaries in terms of the discrimination and the evangelization, which I think are faults in the current program. Well, but I don't across the board say, well, there shouldn't be any federal funds going to a religious organization that's doing community work. But I think there should be strong boundaries on discrimination and evangelization.
We don't know what to expect with the new administration. I'm certain he will not be as controlled by the right-wing religious leaders as the past administration, but he does seem to support federal monies going to faith-based groups. Well, we got a minute or so left. Melanie, what would you like to tell our audience?
Well, it's been a pleasure to be here. I think the biggest difference between the secular humanists and the Unitarian Universalists is that our humanists are religious humanists. Our atheists are religious atheists. They wish to be in community, in religious community, and to meet together weekly and to access their spiritual side. And but we are, as you say, cousins. And
I said kissing cousins.
Kissing cousins. Well, everybody kisses in New Orleans. And we are delighted to be in right relationship with NOSHA and hope to do more joint projects with you in the future.
I appreciate your saying that, and we also recognize the need to support each other and to support other groups with whom we have something in common. We don't have to be in total agreement to be supportive. We also had someone from the New Orleans Baptist Seminary talked to us and suggested that even we and they had areas in common.
Indeed.
And so that's what we would like to support. And Melanie, thank you very much.
Thank you.